PGA Tour, and today it was reported that Brooks Koepka, Newman alum, 5-time major winner, has applied for reinstatement for his PGA Tour membership. So the penalty that was instated by PGA Tour when LIV became a thing was additional penalties, including, and maybe more severe than, 1-year ban from the PGA Tour if you go to LIV Golf. Do you think the PGA Tour should uphold that suspension even though a big star like Brooks Koepka wants to come back to the tour, ergo bring a lot of more eyeballs that are Brooks fans or at least recognize Brooks Koepka? Or do you think that they should maybe rethink their penalty and make exceptions for big stars that might help the tour if they were playing versus not playing?
So I don't think they should do this, and I don't think it just to make it under the impression that you have star treatment. I don't think that's the reason that you do this. I don't think you punish him, number one, because Brooks Koepka's 35 years old. He's 35 years old. He's won 5 majors. He's one of the top golfers in terms of resume that we have currently playing. You're going to make him sit a full year and then join the ranks next year. It sounds like, according to the article on ESPN, which was released about him wanting to get out of LIV, was a family decision. Maybe he doesn't want to travel as much. LIV, you could have very peculiar travel schedules.
I will say his wife did suffer a miscarriage in the past year, so there's some stuff there as well. Like,
so maybe, yeah, if this might be him wanting to stay closer to home. This might be him wanting to enter back into, golf tournaments that are a little bit more, I guess, accustomed to the golf scene, the golf world. They're a little bit more prestigious in terms of, because they're historic. And I think maybe he wants to enter back into that fold, play with some of the top players in the world consistently. And maybe the LIV thing sort of ran its course in his head. So I'm curious on how he's going to handle this and how the PGA is going to handle this. If it's me, I do not suspend him because he's 35. It sets a good precedent. It sets a good relationship thing between PGA and LIV. And it convinces other players that, hey, we can do this.
Now, Christian, I'm sorry for putting you on the spot and you don't know this, but when were the rules announced, like, hey, if you're going to leave LIV? Like, was this something that's been in place for a long time?
Yeah, the thing is that, like, when LIV Golf was become a thing, when guys like Phil Mickelson left the PGA Tour, the PGA didn't know what to do. Like, LIV Golf allows their players to play in the PGA Tour. LIV Golf says you can do both.
Okay.
But the PGA Tour did not want that. This is way back in 2022.
Okay,
I believe.
perfect.
Yeah,
Yes.
this is a while ago.
This is when they were trying, they're panic selling.
And the thing is, Mike, these guys, like Brooks Koepka, were given really big signing bonuses for taking that risk and leaving the PGA Tour, knowing the penalties that would ensue. And now these contracts are expiring. So guys like Brooks and now Bryson's the big name that's going to be playing on a contract year.
Boys, where I'm going here, I think time heals all. Like, at the time, like, PGA and LIV were at each other's necks. I think that relationship isn't as bad as it was back in 2022. I also think with the additions of TGL, and Christian, please remind me, I'm so sorry I forgot. What's the event that you and Dr. Al and everyone were at where they were doing the trick shots and stuff like that?
Yeah.
The Optum Golf Channel.
Okay,
games.
perfect. Like, they added stuff like that to where professional golfers in the PGA can make more money to kind of, I don't know, compete with LIV like that. I don't think they're at each other's necks like that. I have no problem with them not having to have Koepka wait. Like, it's not 2022 anymore. The PGA isn't, screw you to LIV anymore. They have ways for their golfers to make extra money now. They have cool things that incentivize the PGA now to where I don't think they even see LIV as a threat anymore. That's my 2 cents on the situation.
Well, here's the problem. They have the money. So that's why you got to be careful here because it's a slippery slope. Let's say you let Koepka come back. What's stopping, Scotty Scheffler? And he won't do it. But stopping Scotty Scheffler for doing a 1-year, $100 million contract with LIV and then just coming back. Takes a year off. He makes life-changing money. He travels the world. He does different tournaments. We don't see him other than the majors. And then he comes back to no penalty. That's the precedent that I think the PGA is nervous about establishing because that's the whole reason they said it in the first place. Because PGA Tour players are thinking, hold on, we're being loyal. We're sticking to by your tournaments. But this guy, Dustin Johnson's making $125 million to leave. And I'm making purse money of, if I have a good tournament, $3 million.
Yeah.
So it's a lot that's the precedent that they're nervous about. So I'm curious to see if LIV is still going to try to pluck PGA. There's the merger. There's you're 100% right. There's a better relationship now than there was 4 years ago. But to the same token, does this mean if they upend that ruling, is LIV going to start trying to pluck more guys from the PGA to replace guys like Brooks?
Yeah, and you also think if you're thinking strategically, if you're still in a war, PGA Tour versus LIV, if there's no penalty, you might have stars that made their nut come on back because they already made generational wealth.
And then
now
PGA
they can
guys are
chase.
pissed.
Yeah, well, maybe. And these PGA Tour guys who didn't take the money and make that even super duper generational wealth, instead stuck it out with the PGA Tour. The leading flag holder in this was Rory McIlroy, who has been staunchly anti-LIV Golf, very aggressive towards it. When he was asked at a TGL press conference, the second match of the year that I was at, about, this is before Brooks Koepka applied for his PGA Tour card. Just the fact that Brooks Koepka was not a LIV golfer anymore. PGA, TGL, they're together. TGL is a PGA Tour organized league.
Yes.
Here is what Rory McIlroy had to say at the press conference.
Right here in the front.
Thanks. Rory, quick question. Now that Brooks Koepka has left LIV, is there a possibility he'll join TGL?
I would say that's up to people that are more powerful and more important than me, but I am one of the founders. I would love him to play. You know, if there's space on a team for Brooks to come and play, it only makes what we're trying to do stronger. He's a 5-time major champion. He's been one of the best players of our generation. And if he decides it's something that he wants to do, I'm sure we'll find a way to include him.
So, a strong pivot there from Rory McIlroy, the poster child for PGA Tour staying in-house and not taking the money to LIV Golf and not allowing LIV golfers back onto the tour. I think you might see very soft penalty, maybe a slight fine, and you'll probably see Brooks Koepka playing in tournaments like the Cognizant Classic in the Palm Beaches.
Yeah, I go back to what I said, boys. Time heals all. Colin, you had a great rebuttal to where, hey, what makes it, why wouldn't this guy jump ship this year and then come back the next year? I guess that's just something you're going to have to deal with. It's a very tricky situation because I thought these two were closer to merging than they weren't.
Well, yeah, right. So there was the merger. That was about, 2 years ago, I want to say, maybe a year and a half ago. And ever since then, it's really just been legal stuff, and they're trying to figure out ways to
Never materialized. It just
never really materialized. They only did it in handshake. They never really did it in actual execution. But the good news is LIV had a new CEO, and Scott O'Neill, by the way, grew up down the street from him, the former next-door neighbor of the Russo household. So,
attaboy.
So Scott O'Neill, good friend of show. We could probably get him on one of these days.
Okay.
But
You said that about a lot of people.
Scott,
I still want that reliever on the Mariners, right? Is that the guy?
No, starter on the Mariners. Hold on, Christian. Started game 7.
Christian.
Started game 7 of the ALCS.
Christian, you love lambasting. You love lambasting.
Started game 5 and game 7 of that series. Please.
You love lambasting us if we don't know something that we should know. We are going to lambaste you for not knowing
George Kirby's good friend of show. You're dead wrong there. That's why he doesn't come on, because he heard that. And he heard Christian thinks he's a reliever.
Yeah, correct.
Now he's not going to come on with us, nonetheless. George Kirby, good friend of show. But Scott O'Neill has done a better job in terms of relationship building. He's an operator at the end of the day. He's good with the relationships. And I believe it's still Monahan, the leader of the PGA Tour. I know there was rumors about him stepping down. But with Jay Monahan there, it's about his relationship with O'Neill. Are they going to sort of coexist to the point where you are not a threat to us, you are a compliment to us? That's why the TGL works. TGA is on Monday nights, on Tuesday nights. You know, it's local. It's in one spot. You're not in Singapore. You're not in all these spots that the LIV has tournaments. Comparatively to LIV events being on weekends, taking the same players, it's similar formats where it's a weekend type of thing. Sometimes it's during the week, sometimes it's not. So I don't know how they're going to handle it, but I think the fact is that Brooks wants to come back. Maybe the money doesn't talk as much as they thought, and they think that the PGA is in a good spot. And I think relevance to Koepka is important to finish off his career. I think he wants to be seen on PGA Tours against Scheffler and Rory week in and week out. And he sort of misses that as a 35-year-old. That would be my perspective. But Christian's right. Christian hit a lot of points there. There's a give-and-take relationship, and it's all about how the powers above treat each other.
Yep.
So Scott O'Neil and Jay Monahan are the two chess pieces